So there's a few different processes you want to run for anniversaries, for holidays, and maybe even milestones like revenue or spend, depending on the industry you have. Those are kind of common in the fintech industry, but holiday celebration is almost every single company is going to do this. So you might as well have some type of automated process to help you think through this and not scramble towards the end of the year to then make decisions. Who should get what gift? Who are we even supposed to send these to? Do these people even celebrate these? Is it different for their cultures? Is there different holidays we should be worrying about depending on who we're working with? There's actually a lot that goes into this, a lot of support that has to be kind of authorized and made by your finance and support team to actually get this to happen. So, all of these things we want to talk through so that you have the key steps and an automated process that will take care of that. So, this just happens automatically. So, this chart is going to show us the steps that the business should take to celebrate major holidays with key clients so that they build stronger relationships. Okay. So up here, we're going to have a holiday that's going to happen. The number one thing you want to do is have some type of calendar or holiday schedule within your business. So right here, we're going to assess that holiday. Is this an American holiday like a Thanksgiving? Or is this maybe a religious holiday like a Christmas? And then again, different for different countries out there. Is there a different religious holiday? Is there a different major holiday that's celebrated that we don't typically celebrate, or they celebrate it in a different way? Some of those things you might want to consider depending on how big your business is and who you're working with, right? So we're assessing what that is, and then we're going to then determine, do we allow gifts to this person? And that might be based on a couple different things, not just cultural differences and things like that you can consider, but also things like tiers of your customers. So if you have somebody that basically does $0 with you, maybe it's strategic in that situation to actually then send them something to kind of push forward a good relationship. Other situations, you may not want to spend something very large on somebody that's not really spending money with you guys. Vice versa, if you have a really key client or some type of strategy that you're trying to put into play with some of your clients, or someone that's just been with you for years and you want to treat them a little bit different, you're going to want to think through that a little bit differently. So this is where we make this decision in our system to figure out, do we actually allow gifts to this person? All right. So that's why I have here your culture, your customer tier is what I would call it, and or a good relationship. Sometimes the relationship gets sour and it's just not appropriate to send them something at that time. So we're going to look through that as well. If the answer is yes, then what I would prefer to do here is at least have a 30-day heads up. If this is something you're shipping even further than that, I know we've even had some people that have worked with us or clients of ours that are on the whole other side of the country, or sorry, whole other side of the world. And it takes more than 30 days to really get this prepped, sent out, and then actually get delivered on the time that we want it to. Or you have to work with some type of like local store or like local authorities over there to try to figure out another route of how you can send them something. So 30 days minimum, but again, depending on who you work with and where this is at, you might need more than 30 days. During those 30 days, we're going to be looking at two different things. One is it 30 days yet? If the answer is no, we're just going to loop back around and wait for that 30-day mark to happen. If it finally does hit the 30 days ahead of the holiday that we're supposed to be sending out for, we want to then notify the support team. The support team is then going to see this decision made. This is going to be automated for them. It's going to look at these bands or these customer tiers that you've set up. So in these situations, some ways to look at it, you could do something really basic around like revenue spend that you get from these guys. So, if they spend X amount of dollars with us, they get gift one. If they spend a lot of money with us, they get gift four. You could do it like that. You could also do it through more of a strategy, which is kind of what I have here in our example. So just here's a standard client that works with us. They kind of hit our minimal threshold and they're a good client. We're going to send them something. Maybe that's more standard. And then those options that I told you up above with growth and strategic, those might be a little bit different. Maybe somebody spends a little bit less with you right now, but they're a new client and you want to feed into that relationship and you think there's a lot more work you can get with these people or longer that they can stay on the product that you're offering. Maybe they fit growth and you want to send something different. Same with strategic and then VIP. All of these can be crafted the way you would like, but the point is to think of your customers a little bit different and send them something appropriate that matches. So it's not just a generic, here's a gift for every single person that we send it for. it's not always going to make the most sense. If it is VIP, we are going to do this a little bit different. These are for your customers that either spend the most with you or are the best or have left you a bunch of reviews or are a huge advocate for you online or have given you a lot of referrals. You can define what VIP means to you. But those people, if you think of them right now, I know you have them in your business too. Think of those people. And then in that situation, this is where you really want to kind of go above and beyond back for them so that you can continue to garnish that relationship. So in here, typically for our business, what we do is we send out more of a personalized gift. I think the craziest one we've done in the past is we were working with somebody and they had throughout the year numerous times mentioned how much they loved playing Halo growing up and they didn't have Xbox. And we actually took the time to send one of those out for them. They were a key client of ours. And it was an awesome Christmas gift that we sent over his way. So you could think of something as crazy as that if you wanted to go really personal. Another one I see with bigger businesses is maybe it's not something on that deep of a level, although I think that that's a really cool thing you can do is to listen for those things and send it their way. But another one that also seems to work pretty well is thinking like locally. So either you've shared things with where you're from and they're interested in maybe visiting where you live and you want to send them something local from where you're at is kind of cool, or vice versa. If there's something local in their town that's kind of the known place, you could also tap into that store and try to have them send something. An easy go-to for something like that is, think of Christmas where there's a lot of baked goods. You can kind of look for common bakeries or pastry shops or things around that area that are kind of known in that specific spot, and you can tap into those stores and send them something local. That's another cool one I've seen over the years with other businesses. I would also highly recommend sending out some type of handwritten note in this situation. What I would do is I would gather your team together that works with this client. So all the people that have been on the account, whether that's just the account manager, or if it's like the sales rep, the account manager, maybe the sales manager and the CEO, something like that, where you have a team that puts this together and you just write a quick thank you and you send that out along with this. After that, we're going to then go down to understand if the holiday is actually here. So we have a situation where we're sending this out 30 days in advance so that we can get it on its way and get there on time. But then on the actual holiday, we don't want to skip that either. We do want to send out an actual holiday email. So notice over here, these people, maybe on your lower bands or your different bands, I should say, they're not really going to get this personalized situation, but we still want to send them a gift. And then on the day of whatever that holiday is, send out an email to them, thanking them or wishing them season's greetings for whatever it might be. So we're going to send out a holiday email as well. If the answer is no, we just loop back around and wait until the actual holiday, the day of, to do that. If it is a VIP client, there's one last thing that we want to do here. I would say instead of just your generic email and ending it there, again, these are the people that go above and beyond. You really want to make sure that they stay happy with your business. I would ask yourself if they are a VIP client, and if the answer is yes, again, go to your account manager, notify them, have them send out a personal email or a personal Slack message. Really does not take that much time to do. You could even have a template drafted of more or less what you want to say in those situations, and then have them send it. So when you're kind of looking at it this way, it really goes above and beyond on your customer service side that it's a personalized gift. They get a handwritten card, they get an email the day of, and they get a Slack message the day of as well from their account manager wishing them season's greetings. At the end of that, what we want to do here is this is going to add up. If you have a bunch of these holidays going out, you're going to want to kind of keep track of this. One, just for the finance sake of it, how much you're spending on this, who you've sent stuff to, how much that costed. But you also want to keep up on people who did get a gift and didn't get a gift. That gets really complicated if you're doing this more than once a year. If you only do this for one major holiday, maybe that's around Christmas or New Year, maybe not too big of a deal to have this piece in there. I still would recommend it just so that you have it. But if you don't have this in place and you are sending this out for Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year and maybe like 4th of July and other holidays that might be different for different cultures, you're going to want some kind of date here to stamp and say, this is when we sent the last holiday gift out. So that way, when you pull a report from finance or customer service, or from like the CEO's perspective too, you can then view, hey, here's all the clients that we've sent gifts to. Here's the day that it's stamped to say that it went out. And you keep track that way, very well organized, knowing that, yes, we did in fact send these people this gift. You could go further with this. This is kind of a bare minimum, at least stamping the date. What I would add to this, if you would like, is you could even create a field for those holidays that you plan to send it out with like a checkbox and say like Christmas gift sent question mark as a field. And then you would check it as true when that does send out. You could also put a amount in here too of how much you spent on it. Up here is really where I'd recommend doing that. I'd come up with maybe bands up here of how much you're going to spend if it is a standard customer, a growth customer, strategic, or VIP. And that way you don't have to think through that. It should be pre-authorized by your finance team. But if you're not doing that, maybe you're a little bit smaller of a business, I would also add in like an amount field to say this is how much we spent on this person. So again, when you're pulling that report from finance, customer service, or the C-suite, you can all see, hey, this is when we last sent it. This is the gift for this holiday that we sent it for, and this is how much we spent on it. It's just going to make it a lot easier at the end of the year when you're trying to track your expenses and how much you put towards your clients to try to kind of go above and beyond here. So really cool system. Like I said, every business that really I feel like I work with, they do something, whether it's an email or they send a gift or they do something a little more personal. The bare minimum, I see almost everybody send out at least an email. And even if it is just an email, you can use part of this system in here to at least automate that piece of it and make sure everybody gets a season's greeting for whatever holiday that you're sending it for. So if you want this installed in your business, you don't have it already, and you don't want to do it by yourself, I did add a link in the description below. You can click on that. It'll send it to our sales team. We'll see if we're a good fit to work with you. And if we are, we can actually put this system into your business for you and tailor it specifically for what you guys want to do. So if that seems interesting to you, look forward to speaking with you guys soon. Thanks.